Okay, so we're going to try to write a very simple nitramation process to automate the breaking apart of family table instances to standalone models. So let's say that we have this family table that we've got created here that has all of our library parts in it. We need to break those out into individual models by the name that they are currently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by first creating an execution worksheet that's going to come off of the NitroCell main. We're using kind of our default template as our starting point here. We're going to say get models is going to be the name of that worksheet, and it's going to add it to the NitroCell main. So that's going to be our entry point into the automation process. The question we want to ask it is the first thing we want to do is open up a model, and let's see here. So we're going to open up our screw.prt. The reason we're going to put this in here is that if I wanted to clear memory and make sure that it was gone. If I press the do it button, it will open that up and make sure that I've got the right model that I'm talking to. Otherwise, it would the rest of these processes would basically assume the active model. So the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to come in and get a list instances of all of the instances that are within this particular model that's on the screen. So I can leave this blank and assume that it's going to use the current active model, which we can do. And let's kind of scroll over here to kind of see what its expectations are for information. You can see here that it expects the model, or we can also declare which instances we want to get within it. The target worksheet, which is the batch worksheet that we're going to be executing, and then the worksheet that's going to execute the processes is the last one. So I'm going to tell it to just give me all of the instances, and then we're going to need a batch worksheet for this to be to fill out. So I'm going to create a batch worksheet. I'm just going to execute it as a sub function here, and we're going to call this batch instances. So that'll create that for me. So batch instances is going to be where I write the data. And then we need an execution worksheet for what is that batch supposed to do. So I'm going to create another execution worksheet. We're going to execute it from the batch, so we're not going to run it off the main sheet. And we're going to say process instances, and the function here that we're going to complete is process instances. So what this is going to do is it's going to open up the active model that's here. It's going to go search for all of the instances, populate the batch instances worksheet, and then process those every time a batch runs. So we're going to fill this up with data, and then eventually it will run whatever content we have here. So if I run this right now, you'll notice that it connects to the active model and populates this with the list of instances associated with this model and gets it all set up and ready to go. So if I wanted to take advantage of this, we could actually start off and say application, we're going to erase memory so that we have everything kind of cleared out. Then we're going to open up one of the instances as it's being batched. And the file name for that, I'm going to pull off of my batch header here. So as that thing goes down for our current item, as our current item counter moves down, you can see that the name will change automatically. And let's put that back just for now. So once I've got this here, that's basically going to open the model, erase memory, and open the model for every instance that it encounters. So we've almost got this ready to run here. The only thing that we're missing is a couple of basic commands. So the first thing I want to do is to basically say execute batch, and let's see here, where is it? Or batch start, maybe it's batch start. There it is, batch start. And I'm going to use the same worksheet name that I've used for my target. So if I run this now, you'll notice that it is going to loop through every instance that's in the batch sheet and open each of those models. So that's pretty cool. So if I come back to the beginning here, I want to insert a couple of, well, let's just copy this row down here and let's place that there. And I'm going to use a little bit of a trick here. So in order to move things around relative to our backup directory that we want, I'm going to come in and I'm actually going to use a function within the release process that we have. And I'm going to say set nitro release dir. What this does is this will automatically create a subdirectory within the working directory. As you can see here, this is where my screw is in my worksheet. And we're going to call this final parts. And so what this is going to do when this runs is it's going to open the file, it's going to populate the data, it's going to create a release directory, and don't worry, it will re-instance this if we need to as subdirectories, and then it will start the batch process. So the batch process is going to list out this data and route through them one at a time, and currently it's only opening the model. So the other thing that we want to do is we want to delete the family table for the source model. So I'm going to come back here, grab my source model. So it's going to open up the instance, then it's going to go delete the family table for the source model. And then as a final operation, we can actually say, save this to the released directory. So that released directory that we have created, or that's going to be created, this command will actually save whatever is active in the display to that directory. So when I press the do it button here, it's going to restart the process. You'll notice that it created my final parts directory, and it's already starting to break out each of those instances as it walks through the process, and then it's done. So if I pull this model up here, you'll notice that it comes right up. There is no family table reference to it whatsoever. Whereas if I were to step up a directory and close this out, let me erase memory so you can see, and open up the screw, you'll see that it is in fact trying to pull up the generic. So that's just a very quick example of how to break out family table instances using NitroCell.